don't be afraid of losing in life. If you're watching this video right now, you're probably carrying some kind of fear inside you. Maybe you're afraid of starting a new job. Maybe you're afraid of taking a step into a relationship. Maybe you're afraid of building that dream business because what if it fails? What if everyone laughs at you? What if you lose everything you have? Stop. Take a breath. And listen to this. Your fear of losing is robbing you of the biggest opportunities of your life. The real face of the fear of losing. Most people don't actually want to win. They want to not lose. And these are two completely different things. Someone who wants to win takes risks. Someone who wants to not lose stays safe. Someone who wants to win says, so what if it doesn't work out, and moves forward anyway. Someone who wants to not lose says, what if it doesn't work out, and never starts. Which one are you? Be honest with yourself. In the last 5 years, how many opportunities did you turn down because of the fear of, what if I lose? How many dreams did you shelve because, there's no guarantee? How many relationships did you never even start because of the fear of rejection? Why are we so afraid? Our brains have worked the same way for millions of years, programmed for survival. And survival means not taking risks. For our ancestors, walking into an unknown cave meant death. Talking to an unfamiliar tribe meant danger. But we don't live in that world anymore. Today, not taking risks doesn't kill you, it slowly consumes you from the inside. It condemns you to an average life. It traps you in a version of yourself far below your potential. Your brain is still running that old software, but you're not living in that old world anymore. You need to understand this contradiction. The real definition of losing. Let me tell you something, losing is not trying and failing. Losing is never trying at all. Think about it for a second. Let's say you started a business and it failed. What did you learn? You learned what kind of systems you need to build, what mistakes to avoid, how the market actually works. That's not a loss, that's an investment. But let's say you never even tried. What did you learn? Nothing. 5 years later, you're still standing in the same place, asking the same questions, living the same what-ifs. That's what real loss is. Spending your time, your potential, the most valuable years of your life just trying to stay safe. The truth everyone knows but nobody says. Every successful person you admire today has lived through the exact thing you're afraid of right now, over and over again. They got rejected. They went bankrupt. People mocked them. They failed publicly, sometimes more than once. The difference between them and the person who stays stuck isn't that they never lost. It's that losing never stopped them from trying again. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. Countless entrepreneurs you respect today went bankrupt at least once before building something that worked. They weren't braver than you by nature. They just understood something you haven't fully accepted yet: failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the process that leads to it. The story you tell yourself. Here's what's really happening in your mind. You imagine the worst-case scenario in vivid detail. You lose the money. People laugh. You feel humiliated. Everyone says, "I told you so." You play this movie over and over until it feels so real that you decide not to act at all. But here's what you never do: you never imagine the worst-case scenario of not trying. You never sit down and picture yourself 5 years from now, still in the same place, still telling yourself the same excuses, still watching other people live the life you wanted. That scenario is far worse. And it's actually happening to you right now, in slow motion, every single day you choose safety over growth. What you're really protecting. Ask yourself honestly, what are you actually protecting by staying safe? Your comfort. Your comfort isn't making you happy, it's making you numb. Your image. The people whose opinions you're so afraid of aren't thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. They're too busy worrying about their own lives, their own fears, their own what-ifs. Your ego. Your ego wants to avoid embarrassment more than it wants you to be fulfilled. That's the trade you're making without even realizing it, trading a full life for the temporary comfort of never being embarrassed. The cost of playing it safe. Nobody talks about this, but playing it safe has a price too. It's just a price you pay slowly, quietly, over years, instead of all at once. You don't feel it in one sharp moment like failure. You feel it in the slow erosion of your self-respect. In the quiet resentment that builds when you watch someone less talented than you take the risk you were too afraid to take, and succeed. You feel it at 2 a.m. when you can't sleep because some part of you knows you're capable of more but you keep choosing not to find out. That's the real cost of avoiding loss, a life that never fully happened. How to actually deal with this fear. I'm not going to tell you to just not be afraid. That's useless advice. Fear doesn't disappear because someone tells you to ignore it. What actually works is changing your relationship with fear. First, redefine what losing means to you. Losing isn't failing at something. Losing is staying the same person for another year while telling yourself you'll change someday. Once you truly believe this, taking risks stops being the scary option, staying still becomes the scary option.
Second, separate your identity from the outcome. If your business fails, you didn't fail as a person. You ran an experiment that gave you a result. If a relationship doesn't work out, it doesn't mean you're unlovable. It means that specific situation didn't work. The moment you stop attaching your entire self-worth to outcomes, risk becomes much easier to take. You're not gambling your identity every time you try something. You're just gambling an outcome, and outcomes can always be rebuilt. Third, ask the right question. Instead of asking, "What if this fails?" ask, "What if this works?" And then ask an even better question, "What happens to my life in 5 years if I never try this at all?" That last question is the one that should actually keep you up at night. Not the fear of failing. The fear of never knowing. Fourth, take the smallest possible action today. You don't have to make the giant leap right now. You just have to take one small step that moves you closer to the thing you're afraid of. Send the message. Submit the application. Save the first $100. Have the conversation. Momentum kills fear. Fear grows in stillness and shrinks the moment you start moving, even slowly. What losing actually gives you. Here's something nobody tells you: every loss you've ever experienced has made you who you are today. Every rejection taught you something about resilience. Every failed attempt taught you something about yourself that success never could have. The version of you sitting here right now, watching this video, wanting more from life, that version was built partly by the losses you survived. You're not as fragile as your fear tells you that you are. You've already lost before. You already know how to survive it. The only thing you haven't proven to yourself yet is that you can lose and try again anyway. The real question you should be asking. Stop asking, "What if I lose?" Start asking, "What kind of person do I want to be 5 years from now? The one who tried and sometimes lost, or the one who never found out what they were capable of?" Because here's the truth: you are going to lose things in life no matter what you do. You'll lose money at some point. You'll face rejection at some point. You'll be embarrassed at some point. That's not a possibility you can avoid by playing it safe, it's a guarantee of being alive. The only real choice you have is whether those losses happen while you're building something, or whether they happen anyway while you're standing still, having wasted the years in between. Your next step. So here's what I want you to do after this video. Think of the one thing you've been avoiding because you're afraid of losing. The business idea. The relationship. The career change. The conversation you've been putting off. Write it down. Then write down the smallest possible action you could take toward it in the next 24 hours. Not the giant leap. Just the first step. And then take it. Scared. Uncertain. Without a guarantee. Because the guarantee was never coming. It doesn't exist. The people you admire didn't wait for one. They moved without it, and that's exactly why they ended up somewhere you haven't reached yet. The final truth. You are going to lose some things in life. That part is not optional. What is optional is whether you spend your life trying to avoid that reality, or whether you accept it and start building anyway. 5 years from now, you will either be further along than you are today, or you'll be exactly here, watching another video like this one, still afraid, still waiting for the fear to go away on its own. It won't. It's never going to feel completely safe. That feeling doesn't come before you act, it comes after, once you've proven to yourself that you can survive whatever happens. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for the fear to disappear. Take the step anyway. I'll see you at the top. Now go.